And we are live. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of Respect the Craft. This is episode number 342, and I'm joined here by a very special guest. We have none other than the captain of Team Titan, Tony Chini. What's going on, brother? How's everything? Good afternoon.
How you doing? How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. A lot better now that we're talking here. But yeah, man, how's everything going? How was your holidays, man?
It was good. It was good. I actually stepped up this year. I actually was able to make some food this year. I was able to make green beans. I made the mashed potatoes, candied yams. I made the ham. I made a little dessert. I got in there. I didn't do the turkey though. I didn't face it. Maybe next year, but I did my part though. How was yours?
Oh, it was good. It was good. Can't complain. Again, getting ready because as much as we're enjoying the holidays, getting in that spirit, it's like we still have business to attend to. We're a few days away at this point now. We were less than a week away during Thanksgiving, but now we're a few days away from the aftermath that we're going to talk about a little later on. Before I get into all that, all the wrestling talk and everything like that, I do have to ask you the question I ask everyone that comes on. You heard the name of the podcast. It's called Respect the Craft. So for you, when you hear that term, the craft, what does that mean to you?
Wow. Honestly, the crafts of wrestling is really just that. Some people think of it as just a sport or maybe just entertainment, but it's so much. There's so many different art forms that get pushed into wrestling that it truly is a craft. And that's what makes it unique, that, it makes it so that so many people can watch it and enjoy it and understand what they're watching.
Got you. Definitely so. For you though, what was it that made you decide you want to step into this craft? What was it for you that made it this isn't just something I enjoy watching. This isn't just something that's like, oh, cool. This is cool. I need to get in there. I need to step through those ropes.
Well, the moment in time that really always comes back to me is my first WrestleMania I ever got to watch on pay-per-view, which was WrestleMania 20. And the main event, when Shawn Michaels climbs to the top rope and he does the moonsault to the outside onto the other two. It was just one of those moments. I've never seen anything like that at that point. You know what I mean? That was now you see, people do triple, double, quadruple moonsaults with spins and everything. But at that time, that was the first time I'd ever seen anything like that. And it was so captivating that I just saw it and I was like, I have to be there.
Not you. No, that is perfect right there. And again, it's usually those moments like that most people talk about. That it's that moment that just makes you feel like I want to do that. I need to be in there. I need to get that feeling of just that emotion. And especially with a guy like Shawn Michaels, how do you not convey that type of emotion right there?
Yeah. And just when I first started watching wrestling, it was really like it was towards the end, but still hot and heavy with Triple H versus Shawn Michaels. Going into 2004.
Yep.
And so, just like that story capping off with such a huge ending at WrestleMania 20 was just, absolutely incredible.
No, definitely so. So now you make that choice. You're like, you know what? One day I have to be a part of this. I have to be doing this. When was it for you where it clicked? This was the right choice. Was it that first bump? Was it first match? What was it for you where it starts to feel like, okay, this was the right direction. Let's go full throttle here?
Well, that's a really good question because, like, as a kid, I didn't know what wrestling school was.
Okay.
And so my perception of it was that, like, wrestlers had to, because you'd always hear, Triple H was trained by Killer Kowalski and all this kind of stuff. So, I'd assumed that Killer Kowalski had found Triple H, somewhere and said, I is a wrestler. He's going to be trained to be a wrestler. So that was my assumption. So that's what I always thought, hopefully I meet a wrestler and I could show them, I could tell them, how much I really want to be a wrestler. But then, as I grew older and I started learning, what wrestling school was and all this stuff, it obviously that seemed a little bit far off.
Yeah.
But I was at a VFW one day and I was setting up for a birthday party. And on the other side, they were doing karaoke. And I go over there, I sign up for a song. And the guy before me goes up. And I'm looking at him. And I'm like, this guy looks so familiar. Like, why do I know this guy? All of a sudden, he comes up to me. I'm wearing a Stone Cold Steve Austin shirt. And he says, hey, I wrestled that guy. And he walks away. And all of a sudden, I hear somebody say 911. So 911 just sang karaoke at this bar. and I'm next. So now I'm terrified. I go up, I sing my song. I go up to him afterwards. I start talking to him. He's one of the nicest guys I've ever met. I ended up keeping in touch with him after that. I actually ended up going to this other bar, doing karaoke with him over and over again. And one day he came up to me and he said that he was opening a school and he wanted me to join. And it was almost like that moment, like when I was a little kid, that I thought that like you had to be almost chosen by a wrestler. And it was just, you know, almost Big Al 911 chose me. You know what I mean? It was very cool. And, you know, I knew right then and there when he had asked me that I was going to stick with this and that I was going to make sure that I did him right because he gave me that opportunity.
Got you. And that is too poetic right there. It's one of those where it's like, hey, it legit happened how you expected it to. That it's like, oh, I need to be able to meet someone like that for them to choose, hey, you're going to be a wrestler. And look where we're at now, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to 911 and Big Vin, who was the head trainer at the school. You know, does a lot of work for GCW and fantastic wrestler, great guy. And I hope you're having a great time with your kid, man.
Oh, definitely. Again, and it shows. You see the just style, and it works out. It works out, man. But when it comes to that, then, so I can imagine once you have that opportunity, once it just almost falls into place the right way, I can imagine you're like, well, now we have to do it. There is no ifs and or buts about it. It's like we're going in full throttle here.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, it was full throttle. I was at the school all the time. It was during the time that Jinder Mahal was champion, and we'd always watch on, you know, on like on TV there and stuff. It was an interesting time, but it was really cool. Rhett Titus came through the school a couple times because he lived in the area. It was awesome. It was unfortunately a short-lived school. It was only open for a little bit, but me and Big Vin ended up being roommates after that, and we had a ring. So, you know, the training continued. So it was, yeah, full throttle. I mean, like I said, you know, when you're given that opportunity and you grew up with that perception and it actually comes true, it's like you have to do it at this point. It's like, why?
Oh, yeah, it's almost too perfect that it's like we have to keep going here.
Absolutely.
But as I look at my comment section, I'm gonna go to the nice one first because I'm like, what is happening in my comments? We got Antina in the chat saying hello. What's going on, Antina? We all love here, all love. And then we got Jared Diaz in the chat saying, Ray Sanchez, I still hate you. I don't know why this guy hates me. He says you're cool though. Says Tony, you're cool.
Well, I appreciate that, but I mean, you know, even though he hates you, he watches your stuff.
I don't know what I did, man. I don't know what I did. We all hate Ray. Okay, what's going on, Dre? But Tony's cool. Again, there's love for you, Tony. They hate me today for some reason. I don't get what it is. Puppy bias with the sick. I'm not biased. See, this is where it comes from. It's because allegedly, Tony, and you've heard my commentary. Apparently, I'm very biased with my commentary. I don't know what it is. I think I called it as I see it here. So I don't know.
You know what? At the end of the day, this is your show. This is your product. You can say and do whatever you want. And also, at the end of the day, all these people that hate you are still watching your show and giving you the view. So it is what it is.
See, there you go. So you heard it here from Tony Chini. But as we continue here, we start into, again, having those moments happen. It starts almost fall into place. Where do we start finding who is Tony Chini, though? How do we start finding not only the wrestler that you wanted to be, but finding just you in there, that feeling of this is what I want to do in the ring?
Well, the character of Tony Chini, it took a little bit, but at first I always, you know, I felt like, I guess I wanted to be like the serious wrestler. I don't, you know, and I didn't really understand, like I mentioned before, how much goes into wrestling, not just being a serious wrestler. You know what I mean? There's so much more than just that. So one day my trainer had suggested to me that I do a pizza delivery boy gimmick. And so I was like, you know, I don't know about that. I think that's a little silly, blah, blah, blah. But eventually, you know, I had enough training to where I had to really start thinking about it. And that was all we had. So I went with it. And I was the delivery boy, Tony Chini. And I, you know, I mean, like I always wanted something that had something to do with my Italian roots.
Gotcha.
Because my nonna, I always grew up with my nonna telling me about Bruno Sammartino. And my nonna unfortunately passed away when I was a kid. but that was like kind of a way that I wanted to honor her.
Gotcha.
And also my Nano, which Nana and Nano are grandpa and grandma for those, watching that don't know.
There you
Uh,
go.
and my Nano loved Bruno Sammartino, and I never got to meet him. He passed away before I was born. So it's like a way to honor him as well, and kind of, be close to him by, acknowledging my Italian roots. But the first way I did that was as the delivery boy.
Mhm.
And I spent some time on that, and it did its due diligence, and it got me to where I was. And I felt like I just wanted to take it to the next step. So I started playing with this and that. And recently, if you've noticed, I haven't really been going by any nicknames or any monikers. It's just Tony Chini, because at the end of the day, I want to go out there and be me and have a great time. And use all those things that I was talking about before to make that craft of wrestling and put them into my matches.
Got you. And no, definitely. And again, you see it out there that you get to have that authenticity and just be genuinely you. Having those respects, like you said, giving those homages and having those notes where it's paying that for your grandparents there, but it's still doing it in your way now instead of having to have the moniker in a sense.
Yeah, and when I think about like Italian, like at least personally, like I think about family, and I think about like getting together, and that's what a Tony Chini wants to do, is kind of like make the crowd his family and get together with the crowd and get them together with me to get them, behind me, so that's the way I like to kind of put it.
Gotcha. And there we go. We got some more love here for Tony Chini. I think it's someone very special because she commented twice on two different accounts here.
That's
Oh.
right. Different phones, I guess.
Yeah, it's double the views, so we appreciate it there, friend. But here we go. We got Liliana in the chat as well saying, "Why are we hate?" Liliana, I don't know why they're hating on me today, but there we go. Team Titan for the win. Definitely. Again, we're gonna be talking about that in just a little bit. But there we got Chris Sanders as well saying Tony Chini rules. Again, the love here for Tony Chini.
My man, Chris. I like Chris Sanders. He's a good guy. I got to meet him recently at a convention. We actually talked about the Wrestling Code video game, and we actually got to earlier this year show a demo of the Wrestling Code video game at it was the New England Fan Fest, and what's it called? They actually got to play as me, with me at the show, and trail around the GTS arena. It was really, really cool.
Nice. And that is something that definitely we were going to bring up because that's definitely been something you've had a lot of hands-on with that experience. So let's get into that. Just how did that connection come about of you and Virtual Basement to even get to this point where we're here?
So what happened was I started seeing their posts on Twitter and everything, and obviously I believe the first person announced was Evan Bourne, and then other people started getting announced, and then eventually Grimm got announced. And for those of you who don't know, I've been on GTS Wrestling, the YouTube channel, for many years now, and so I was very supportive of that because I figured if our brand is on a video game, that only looks better for us.
Definitely.
So I'm just consistently sharing. And what do you know? One day, I guess they kind of were watching GTS naturally, and they saw something that I did. I can't remember what, but I posted a clip of it on Twitter, and they messaged me, and they said, "Hey, that was a really cool clip. Keep up the good work." And then they followed me. So from there, it was like, okay, they've taken notice. Now I got to keep it up. So I kept sharing. Eventually, we started talking, and then one day I was offered a contract to be in the game. So obviously, I said yes. I signed up, and their first motion capture session was in New Jersey. So they hit me up. They said, we're going to be coming to New Jersey to do our first motion capture set. They did a motion capture session before that with, I believe, Enzo Amore, but it was not wrestling. It was only a promo.
Gotcha.
So doing their first wrestling motion capture session. And they were telling me that they wanted me to do, like just single stuff, like just like standing in place and like standing in motion and running and all that kind of stuff, just basic movements. And then they wanted me to do moves. And I said, okay, who's going to take my moves? And then they said, well, actually, we didn't think about that. And we don't know who's going to take anybody's moves this weekend. So I said, well, I'll bring somebody. I brought Zach Ruby with me and had him take my moves. Shout out to Zach Ruby. And then I said, I'll stick around for the rest of the weekend and I'll take anybody else's moves that come. So I stuck around. I hung out. I took moves from a couple different people. And the last person was Anthony Green, who was fresh off of WWE as August Gray. So we worked together and did some nice work. We hung out. He's a really cool guy. Shout out to him as well. He was the one that kind of put me over to them and said, this guy, he knows what he's doing. He's able to take these moves and he sells them really good. If you want a guy to do your motion capture, this is your guy. So they decided to, try me out again. And they asked me if I wanted to go to Las Vegas to do motion capture with Rob Van Dam. So I obviously said yes. I went there, did that. And then the rest is history. Got to work with Kurt Angle in Pittsburgh, Diamond Dallas Page in Georgia, Ultimo Dragon in San Jose. You know what I mean? Like crazy stuff. And, a lot of it, I have to, again, thank Anthony Green, for putting out that good word for me initially. And then I made it a point to take the time out and do that. You know what I mean? So that's where it all kind of spiraled into. And now we're here.
No, definitely. And again, that roster truly, if you guys haven't looked into it, please definitely check out the Wrestle Code because it's a who's who, like just the names you mentioned right there. And then I took a few pictures of, you got Zach Gowen that's going to be a part of the game as well. You have Tajiri. Like to get to motion cap with Tajiri must have been insane just to have to be around him and seeing all that. But also that process for you, how was it? Because it's one thing to go through the motions and do it, especially in the match setup and doing it for a match. How was that process for you learning how to do it for motion cap? I can imagine it's a whole different level of making sure everything registers so it can go into a video game.
Yeah. So I've gotten to talk to a few cool people about it that have done it before. And one of the biggest pieces of advice that I got was that you want to be animated, a little bit over animated from what you would do in the ring, but not too over animated. Enough that you have to realize you're in a video game. If I just take a bump and just lay there, it might be a little boring, but I gotta, give it a little extra, move my body parts, everything can be, you know what I mean? So one of the things is basically thinking of a silhouette. You think of it as a silhouette. If you see a silhouette of a DDT, like if it goes too fast, you're not going to understand what you just watched.
Yeah.
Watching two shadows. But if you see him pull them in and maybe, give a little something, little snap, you know what I mean? Like you got to be expressive with it. You got to think of because when you do the motion capture, it's basically just like two little skeletons that are basically doing the moves when you watch it back. And that has to look good too. You know, so you have to know what you're seeing, if that makes sense. So
no, definitely does. And it's one of those where it's proven because we've seen a little bit of the videos and the teasers that have been posted and everything is looking very precise and very clean. So again, kudos to you, man, for doing that and to be able to step up in a position like that to now, again, you're in there with the Kurt Angles, the DDPs, the Ultimos, and the list goes on and on. Again, can't wait to see how the final product finally looks, man.
Yeah, man. There's a few other people that have done motion capture for it also. I'm not like the only person,
No.
Zach Ruby's gotten to do a lot of work for them. Alec Price, Teddy Goods, so and a bunch more. It's really, really cool. It's a special project. It means a lot to me. But one of the things, and I'll just acknowledge it right now, that people are saying, oh, it's taking so long to come out. It's taking so long to come out. You got to realize that this, it's not think about GTA 6. Like Rockstar Games is one of the biggest companies in the world, and it's been taking all these years. And I understand that that's a really big project, but so is the Wrestling Code. And there's several people that they have to deal with, several arenas, it's not just, if you make a game and you have all fictional characters, you don't have to run anything by anybody. You're making those characters. You have to make sure that everybody in this game, all these characters, are okay with what you're putting out there. And that's a lot of work. On top of that, it's an independent developer who, essentially is doing it by himself with a team of other developers, but he's the person, the publisher that's main, into it and putting everything into it. And that's a passion project, as he calls it. He puts his own time and money into it. And it's So it's going to take some time, but good things don't come overnight. You know what I mean? Rome wasn't built in a day. It's going to take some time, but when it does come out, I do promise you that you're going to see that the work we put in was totally worth it, and that you're going to have one of the best games on the market.
Oh, agreed, man. And that's the one thing I saw a lot of when people would talk about it, the trailers and even images that were shown of certain roster members. It's like, so when is it going to come out? And I feel like it's the easiest to understand, especially it being, again, independently done. That it's hard enough to think how this would be done, even if it was a just regular video game. But then you have the idea of now the logistics of so many talents in there with contracted talents at that you have so many different elements and logistics to go through, that this is definitely going to be something where, again, it's going to be worth the wait, though. Just seeing the images we've gotten to see, even seeing yourself in there where we have the screenshot there, like it's going to be worth the wait. It's going to be worth the wait to see how it's fully done, how it fully looks, and just to see, again, a video game done that it's not just one of the major companies, in a sense, to have independently done and something that you see just even the process of. Like I saw videos of, again, from your motion cap, from Alec Price's motion cap, and just seeing those things that it's like, hey, they're taking the time to do this the right way for fans to have that true enjoyment of a video game like this.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, I'm a huge wrestling video game collector. I have a huge giant collection of wrestling video games. I've always loved wrestling video games. And when I was a kid, one of my favorite things to do was create wrestlers and like change their move sets so that they could be like the most, like even the wrestlers in the game, I would change their move sets to be more accurate than what they put in. And I would always think to myself, like, I would do so good at this job, like making wrestling move sets. And now, like that, I mean, literally, that's what I do. You know what I mean? Like, I'm able to just sit there and make not just the move sets, but the animation for the move sets. And I've been trusted before to, like, they'll tell me, hey, we're going to be mocapping this guy. I want you to make a list of the main moves that we have to get. You know what I mean? And like, I get to put that together. So that's really, really cool. To say that now, like this thing that again, like just like kind of like becoming a wrestler, like that I kind of spoke into existence, really came true.
There you go. So now we just need Tony to start saying we're gonna win the lotto. Just put it into existence now. It'll happen eventually. No, man, but again, it's truly special to hear it. It's great. We got some more comments as we got our good old pal SP in the chat saying, yo, Chini, my little bro. We got Tina saying this is a great story. We got Lisa Carlin saying, hey, what's going on? SP asking for, tell the story of the first show you went to. Ooh.
I've known SP Anderson since I was like 10 years old.
Gotcha.
Because my sister dated his brother when I was around that time, and he was a referee. And so I loved wrestling. I'd never been to a show before. And one day, my sister and my mom said, we're going to go somewhere. It's a surprise. So we pull up to this VFW. I don't even know what a VFW is I think I was like, I was probably 8 or 9. We probably known each other for more than 10 years, actually, thinking about it. Yeah, way more. But what's it called? I was probably like 8 or 9 years old, pulling up to this VFW. I don't even know what a VFW is. But there's a tank outside, and there's all this military stuff. So I'm thinking in my head, she's probably bringing me to some museum or something like that. You know what I mean? Like a war exhibit, whatever. Like that was my thought process. I would have never thought I'm going to a wrestling show. My mom wasn't a big fan of the wrestling when I was a kid. You know what I mean? I didn't think I was going to a wrestling show. So anyway, I go inside and there's a wrestling ring in there, and I meet SP Anderson, and it was a crazy time. You know what I mean? Like it was the Chris Candido Memorial Cup. And it was crazy. I think that was in 2006. And, it was awesome. And, it was just an unforgettable experience. I ended up getting I got like my first bit of like merchandise. Like I didn't really have like much. I had wrestling action figures, but like I got like my first like title. Like it was the US spinner belt.
Oh, nice. Okay.
To get there and all that, it was a really cool time. But then all these years later, I have my first match ever in front of a live crowd, and SP Anderson is my referee.
Look at that now. Again, full circle moments. I guess this is why SP definitely wanted that story to be told right there. So shout out to SP. Look at that. We got Matt Awesome in the chat as well. Wrestling Co. is going to be dope. Definitely will. We got Kat saying so excited for the Wrestling Co. Definitely.
Yeah, got to do motion capture with Victoria.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, the opportunities that come out of this, man. Again, it's crazy to see, and again, we're looking forward to see everything put together there. We got SP saying he once created your old pal. There you go.
Yes.
That custom of SP Anderson.
Yeah, I had SmackDown Here Comes the Pain. I created SP Anderson. I think his finishers were the Twist of Fate and the 619.
Okay, SP, we now need to see that next time at a Titan show. We need to see the SP 619 pulled up. Oh, we got Jazz Cut saying Tony Chini. Look at that. Got the more love and support here for Tony. We got SP saying we planted the seed that hey, now we're here. We got Tony Chini on the podcast, and again doing his thing all around. We got Kev Hernandez saying, "Put me over, screw SP."
Shout out to Ron Voyage. Thanks for letting me do the other day, brother. I appreciate it.
Oh man, shout out to Ron there. What's going on, brother? But as we continue here, again, that image we showed, not only is it the Wrestle Code, but like you mentioned, you have GTS there. Can we talk a little bit about that? Just how even that endeavor, you getting connected with Grim and the whole crew there, how did that happen? And now just how it's been all these years later.
Yeah. So GTS Wrestling, obviously YouTube show. I was actually featured on there like a year or so before the show as a fan. I was a fan like in the crowd at a show, and Grim was there and he was filming, and he caught me, he like sat next to me for a second in the thing, and I said I was a fan of his. So fast forward like a year or so later, I started, I was at that point starting to train and all that, and I trained for a good bit at that point, and I started developing my character already, the delivery boy. And then of all people, former person on GTS named Dalton hit me up and
okay.
Hey, I see that you're in my area, and I see that you're filming wrestling videos. But at the time I was just filming promos and stuff, so it's not like I had a wrestling company or anything like that. I told him, yeah, I have training, and I've been basically filming these videos, just developing a character.
Yeah.
And so he needed a ride to GTS, and I lived in his area, and I said, you know what, I'll give you a ride. So that was the first time I ever met him, just picking him up for GTS. So we went there, and Grim was, kind of short on some people that day. And he said, all right, let me, see what you know. And I went in the ring, showed him, what training I had at the time. And it was enough to at least put together a basic match. And so yeah, that's what we did. Grim gave me an opportunity. I got to, in my first ever match, wrestle against Grim for the Intercontinental Championship. And it was fun. You know what I mean? I came up with a pizza box, and then I hit him with the pizza box and said he wasn't getting any pizza, YouTube stuff. And it
worked.
Fun. You know what I mean? And that's what I like about GTS is that some people, they think it's a wrestling company, but it's not. It's a YouTube show. It's a YouTube show that's about wrestling, and it's about Grim the wrestler, and it's fun. You know what I mean? It's just fun to go and have a good time. Me and Fran are the current tag team champions, and this is 7 years later, so still going. And 8-time tag team champions there. Former YouTube champion, former Intercontinental, United States, hardcore. I really done everything there, and won the Regal Rumble, all that kind of stuff. And just, it's a fun time, and I really like being there. Shout out to Grim. I was just at his house watching the Survivor Series.
Oh, nice.
Just a good time.
No, that's awesome. Definitely. It's been something where seeing it develop throughout the years, again, seeing where as a YouTube show, it's grown from just the toy figure videos and watching all that, having friends go through there. Cause I definitely was very close in the early stages with Pete Corvus, Tommy Salami, all those guys. So seeing where it's gone from just those early stages to now seeing just even the production value that's gone up with you guys and the videos you guys create. It's awesome to see. So definitely shout out to what you guys are doing there, and keep up the entertaining work. So
thank you.
Look at that. We got SP saying, hitting the side effect on Chini and Mount Olympus last year. So proud of you, man. You've done it all the right way. Great interview, Ray. Thank you again for the kind words, SP. There you go, putting over Chini once more. I don't know if he's too happy though, because I know he's planning some things for Saturday, so he might be nice right now. I don't know what's going to happen with him and Jeff Noyes making their return this weekend, so we got to be mindful of that, Chini.
Okay. I always have my eyes on SP and Jeff Noyes, because you never know what they're doing.
Definitely not.
Sneaky little SP Anderson.
Definitely. We got Jazz said Tony Chini is a household name here. Oh, you gotta love to see it. You gotta love to see it there.
Heck yeah, that's that guy right there, actually. So I have Tony Chini action figures that I've come out with, and that is the man behind them. JAS Cuts right there. Of all places, I met him at my barber shop. He's a barber, and so he actually did an action figure for JTG.
Okay.
And showing me it, and I got linked with him and was able to do that. He's also made keychains for me. He's made so much other merch for other people. If you guys want to hit him up, he actually can do things for you as well. You know what I mean? Like he's very talented, very talented.
There you go. Again, guys, if you want to get in touch, right there, all the information. There you go. JAS Cuts, hit him up. Get some cool merch out there, guys.
Yeah. Absolutely.
As we continue here, I want to ask the question I usually ask that. See, again, I always say, if you guys want to blame this question, blame Alex Shelley, because it's that really thought-provoking question, which is, with your career so far, what would be a match that you say defines Tony Chini so far?
Man, well, that's tough. that's definitely tough. You know what I mean? I think that, honestly, if you want to go with that last match that I had with Titan, that's a perfect example. And, I might be taking the easy way out with this, but at the same time, it's one of those examples of, Tony Chini. I like to be a nice guy. I like to give people an opportunity. I gave Jack Martins an opportunity, and I helped him get into this business. And for him to do what he's done with with Harry, and just I can't believe his actions. And the thing is, sorry, now I'm getting to a different place here, because you really got to think about what Jack Martins has done. I put my neck out for him to even be at Titan Championship Wrestling. Me and Titan, if you don't know, yeah, that was a good moment. And me and Titan had our differences at some point. I was there early on. I did a lot. I left for a while, and before I came back, I sent Jack Martins to Titan Championship Wrestling. I wanted him to have a good place to be. But little did I know that somebody like Harry was going to be sneaking around the corner to take 10%. You're going to do this for 10%, Jack. This is why it defines Tony Chini. This is why this match defines Tony Chini, because Tony Chini is a nice guy, and sometimes nice guys finish last. And that's why I lost that match against Jack. I had him up for the finito on my shoulders, ready to go after 3 scissors kicks. If Harry didn't get involved, if Harry didn't push Francesco, which is something that they didn't even show, that's something that Titan management has not even put on their social media, but they want to put all over the place, which when I grabbed Harry by his collar right next to you, so I'm sorry that you had to get involved, but I had to do what I had to do. And then the audacity to come out and interfere in this business, knowing what happened to Fran, what could have happened to Fran. At least Jack has somewhat of a heart left to put Fran down. Because these are the people. You show that picture again of the 3 of us.
We're going to show that right now. Hold on one second.
That picture again of the 3 of us. Because Jack, you watch this. I want you to look at that picture. Look at the smiles on our faces. Look how happy we are. Look at this moment. Capture this moment. Because you're going to want to go back to this moment after this Saturday. Because Aftermath Revenge is a very apropos name for this event. Because revenge is exactly what I'm going to be dishing out to Jack Martins. And you're captain of Team Titan, and I want to take out each and every one of those idiots over on Harry's team. And now, apparently, Jocko, who I didn't even have a problem with, is now off the team. And now Robbie Romero is going to be replacing him. Robbie Romero, somebody that Tony Chini has also had issues with earlier this year in Titan. So I can't escape it, right? Robbie Romero wants to be everywhere I go. Robbie Romero goes to the Trunk or Treat event.
Yep.
Right? Robbie Romero got pinned by me 1, 2, 3, not once, but twice. If he wants to make it 3 times this Saturday, I'm happy to do that. But I also have a great team behind me. Social Influence, Outcast, Daniel Alexander. What are you waiting for?
Again, like I said, in my unbiased opinion, I think I would put my money on Team Titan. That's just me. But again, I know Titan hasn't talked about it too much, hasn't shown it. My apologies. Just for clarification for the people watching at home, we're going to show that clip of what occurred and just a reason why, again, this Saturday is going to be just even more of a situation. So we'll be right back after this clip. Wait, but Francesca taking down Harry Turjanian. After the comments made, oh! What did he just do? What did he... Harry Turjanian just put his hands on Francesca. What kind of man does that? Who would allow such a thing? Look at this. Look at that. This could be it. Cover 1, 2. And it's a situation where, again, like you said, being a good guy, you decide to check on Fran, making sure she's okay, especially after that dastardly just... See, this is why I say the things I do about Harry, and everyone thinks I'm just being very biased on commentary. Look at the actions that he just did. Attacking just Fran, who was not competing on that night. She was there to support you by your side. And again, Harry does things like that.
But yet, Titan Championship Wrestling is yet to show that part of the clip. They're going to show over and over and over again, and over and over and over again, me grabbing Harry by his collar and me attacking Jack with the chair, right? They're going to show that over and over again, make me look like the bad guy. Why don't you show that part? Why don't you show that part, Titan Championship Wrestling? Because that's the part, that's what drove me to that. That's what's going to drive me to this Saturday. I don't think you understand what you're asking for when you put us in the ring together this Saturday. And maybe you do. You know, maybe you do, because you named the event Revenge. Right? You put revenge in the title. You know it's coming.
Again, it's going to be a reason, if you guys haven't already, make sure you get your tickets. Be there this Saturday. Titan Championship Wrestling presents the Aftermath Revenge. And again, Revenge definitely will be seen this Saturday night. Again, you even got Kat in the chat saying it there. Fran saying it. He shoved me pretty hard. He definitely did. Again, again, Harry will get his just due, even more than he already did. Which, hey, I will say it was a good laugh. I definitely enjoyed seeing Harry get his just deserves. Just saying. But yeah,
he might not want to be at ringside for this one.
See, he shouldn't be. He should be a professional like we're supposed to be and be on commentary. But hey, if he decides to walk away, I will make sure to at least have one of us do a professional job on commentary. But it is what it is.
Maybe we need you at ringside on our side.
See, I would love to. Unfortunately, someone has to call the match. So I will do my job at commentary, but I will be calling this insane 5-on-5 matchup from the commentary desk. But I know, again, Team Titan will do its thing, and we'll see what happens at Aftermath. But as we continue here, before we start wrapping this up, Tony, I have to ask you, though, when it comes to we're a month away, technically less than that, from 2025. What are some goals we're looking at, man, for 2025? Be it in Titan Championship Wrestling or just for Tony Chini? What is 2025 looking like for you, man?
Well, if you had asked me that a few months ago, the answer might have been different. But when you ask me that today, what I want to be my goals for 2025 in Titan Championship Wrestling, I just want to open Jack Martin's eyes and show him what he's doing. I want to bring Jack Martin's back to the good side. That's what I want to do. I want to make sure that I do everything in my power to make sure that Jack Martin sees that his actions have consequences. That part's going to come this Saturday.
Gotcha. Understood. There you have it again, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't already, get your tickets. Be there in Hoboken this Saturday night because it is going to be a stacked event top to bottom. You'll get to see Team Titan in action. You'll get to see Team Harry, or the TTA, as he likes to call it. You also see the TCW heavyweight champion PJ Savage against MLW's own Danny Stratos. The new TCW light heavyweight champion Justin Bon Jovi. The new TCW middleweight champion Face, all in action. But before we start wrapping up, Tony, I have to ask you then, when it comes to outside of Titan, who are some people that maybe you have your eyes on that you would like to share that ring with when it comes to 2025?
Man, there's so many great talents. There's so many great wrestlers. I mean, inside of Titan, you know, I mean, I'd love to be in the ring with anybody there. I mean, we have such a great roster there. But I mean, outside of Titan, you know, just give me the best you got. I want to be challenged. I want to be in the ring with people better than me, so that I can show that I do have the heart and I do have the drive and the energy to get it done against anybody.
Got you. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Tony, final question here for you, brother. Again, thank you so much for joining us and taking some time here to talk to us. For Tony Chini, what is the end goal, brother?
The end goal, you know, one day I'd really like to maybe have my own school, maybe have my own facility, and be able to give it back. You know what I mean? Give back to people, and I have some really cool ideas for that. You know what I mean? So I'm hopefully I wouldn't be doing it alone. I'd want to get some help and make sure that I do it the right way and do it with the right people. And you know, and this is not a tomorrow thing. This isn't a next year thing. This is probably a 10+ year thing here. So this is, you know, way down the line, but that's the end goal.
Got you. Hey, understood. Again, this is all, it's like it's been for you. It's just when timing is right. And who knows, maybe one day you'll be having that. We're at a Titan show and it's like, hey kid, come to training and see what happens next. You never know what could happen. But again, everyone that is watching, thank you again. Don't forget to go follow Tony Chini and all of his social media right there. For some reason, the Instagram forgot to see, but don't worry. Again, make sure you follow him on X at Tony Chini 96. The links will also be in the description down below. Also, make sure you are following. There you go. Make sure you are following Titan on its social media as well. So that way you can stay up to date with all things Titan Championship Wrestling. And so you could be there this weekend for Aftermath Revenge, where you'll see Tony Chini in action. And again, one step closer to hopefully making this whole once again. But Tony, again, thank you so much for joining us, brother. To everyone watching, as always, don't forget to be wise, be genuine, be real, be better people. Respect the craft. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace, everybody.
Thanks for having me.